What's up, lads? It's Adyman here. So you remember how I talked about Madrid the last time and that one story? So this is what I was saying would be the follow-up to it, because I was saying some other crazy shit happened. Well, this is one of the other crazy things that happened. There might be another story due, but this is part two of that. The last night that me and Mark were there, we ended up going to the match kind of late. It was like 7 or 8 at night. It's a bit later in Spain, it always is. So we went to this match, and it was fucking brilliant. It was so good. First when we got there, we went early for the match, like not early, but early for the match, and there was just people lined up and all along these streets, like in all these little cafes and stuff. The closer we got to the grounds, there was just more and more people piling up, and it was really really good. Like we really got into the atmosphere of it. We went around the corner by where the stadium was, and then we saw like in the corner there was like all the ultra fans there and everything. It was fucking brilliant. They were so loud, they were so good. They were lighting flares and shit. It was good as fuck. But anyway, the story isn't really about that. But we went to the match. The match was fantastic. And yeah, so after that, we went back to the place we were staying in, the little hostel place. And we were like, okay, so what are we going to do for the night? And we are like, okay, we still have this bottle of Jim Beam here. Because we got a bottle of Jim Beam on the first day. Because it was only like €11. And we were like, we'll drink it over the few days we're here. It'll save us a bit of money when we go out. So we decided to do that. We finished the bottle off. I think we had like three of them each, or three doubles each, whatever it was. And yeah, so we decided to go out. But because we got back so late from the match, I think it was like 10:30 or something. By the time we went out, it was like 11:30, 12. So it was pretty late because it was a Sunday night. Spain happens to be very traditional, so it's kind of like Ireland in a sense. It's like, a Christian country or whatever, so they believe that, Sunday things should close early, and like pubs and stuff close early or whatever. So the majority of places that would normally be open weren't. When we went out after having these few drinks, it was like 12 o'clock at night. It could have been even later. It might have been even 12:30 or something. I think it was possible that we got back about 11:30, and then we had the gym beam. So after all that, we went to find like the closest place that was open, but just everywhere was closed. It was so weird. We weren't expecting it, and even the nightclubs and stuff didn't really seem to be open. So yeah, we walked around for a little bit. We came around the corner to a place with like kind of a street we hadn't been to, and we found this kind of cool little pub. I think it was like, I don't know what you call it. It was like a late bar, so it was open till like 2 a.m. We're like, okay, cool, we'll stay here. So I went in. We had a couple of drinks. There was a couple of weird people in there and all, but it was a cool place. I mean, the place was covered in like graffiti and stuff. I mean, it was pretty nice. And yeah, then like whatever, your one that was behind the bar told us that like, oh yeah, like we have to stop serving now. Do you want anything before you finish? Whatever. So yeah, we were like, oh fuck, we have nowhere else to go. So after that, we were like, okay, we're gonna have to go and try and find somewhere. And yeah, we left and we decided to walk around the streets. And as we did that, we came across all these really beautiful places we hadn't been in the area we were staying yet. Like we were getting a bit further out from where we were staying, but there was all these really nice places that, like, Madrid during the day is just so hectic. It's so busy, and you really don't get to stop and appreciate it. I'm sure people who live there can testify to that. But we stopped in the street, and there was like no cars around, and it was just so well lit, and there was just these really nice buildings, and you could tell they were just like hounded during the day. We just decided to stand there taking pictures for fucking ages. Like, I mean, we were good there for a good hour because we were just like appreciating how nice this place was. And after all that, after a long, long time, we decided to keep walking, and eventually we bumped into these two Mexican guys, right? And I think they asked us something in Spanish first. And we were like, yeah, we speak English or whatever. And they were like, oh, we're trying to find like a place that's open. Oh, we were like, yeah, we are too. There's nowhere around. Like, they're like, oh fuck, we're on holiday and stuff. So they were like, let's go and try and find a place. So we just got talking. We just walked along. We actually ended up making pretty good friends with these guys. And we went into McDonald's and stuff. We got food, and then we were just looking. Like, they were asking, like, do you know anywhere that'd still be open? No, nowhere was open. So we were like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Kept walking around the city, and it was like, at this stage it was like 3, 4 in the morning. And we were just walking around, couldn't find anywhere that was open. And they were saying like, oh, maybe we'll find like a newsagent and get some drinking there, and maybe we can bring it up to our hotel room and drink up there. Like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. But again, nowhere was open. And I asked a couple of people around the place. Like, there was very few people around at this point as well, and the streets were very empty. Where can we go to get a drink? And people were like, oh, I don't know, like, there's this place here, and we'll walk to that place and it's not open or whatever. And eventually we come to this place, right? And this guy comes running up to us. He's like, "Oh, guys, you want to go to a bar? You want to go to a nice place to drink and stuff?" We're like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for." And he's like, "Yeah. So I can bring you to this place and all." And he tried to bring us to this place at first, and we are like, okay, this feels a little bit dodgy." But he brought us to this place, and it was a it was a strip club. Because me and Mark we both had girlfriends, but the two Mexican guys were like, "Oh, it'll be fine, you know. We'll just go in and all. We'll just get involved with the strip." We were like, no." But anyway, what happened was the place ended up being closed. Yeah, we were like, "Yeah, fuck that," so we can't go in here. And not that we particularly wanted it. Anyway, me and Mark were like literally just looking for a place to have a drink, and that was it. Like we were like, "Fuck that, no, that's not our style." But anyway, we eventually, after that, the guy figured out that okay, they're not going to get in here, the place is closed. So he decided to bring us on to another place. Like, "Oh, I know this other place," and all. And we were like, "Ah, man, this is getting a bit weird." And all the guys started hanging back a bit, and I was walking ahead, like talking to this weird guy. I think he was like Ethiopian or something, and he was obviously in Spain for work, and he was like our club rep or whatever. But he was like, yeah, I'll bring you to this place. I know this other place. We had walked by this place earlier on, right? But we didn't know. We thought it was just closed, but it was like it was behind like a metal door, and we didn't know, but there was a bouncer on the other side who has to open it after you knock. But we were like, okay, so this guy brings us to this place, and we're like, alright, I guess we'll go to this place, this might be alright. And yeah, so we walk in, and we're like, okay, and we look around, and straight away, me and Mark are just kind of thinking, oh, hang on. So we're looking around, and there's all these like pictures of like boobs and shit on the wall, and we're like, okay, but like not like just like flat out like porn shit, but like it was this like, you know, like fucking erotic paintings and shit, and we're like, okay. And there's this kind of older woman behind the counter, and she was like, yeah, what do you want or whatever. And okay, one of the Mexican guys was like, I'll get this round, right? He paid €30 for 3 bottles of beer. 30 fucking euro. I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, you get the next round. And I was like, yeah, no, I'll buy you a drink, but no, fuck that. But Mark actually got a good deal, because he got like a Bacardi and Coke or something for a tenner, which isn't the worst. I mean, it's bad, but I mean, it's usually like €7 anyway, so that wasn't too bad. Anyway, we just sat down and all. As you're sitting there, this like, I presumed she was a stripper. There was a stripping pole thing behind where we were, and yeah, like, you know, I just assumed it was a strip club, right? You know, as you would. So she comes over and starts talking to like one of the Mexican guys, and he was like, you know, talking to her like, and like they're speaking Spanish, so you know, Mexicans speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, and she was speaking Spanish, and she was like basically trying to entice him to come into the back room and all. I only found all this out afterwards. I just assumed she was like, oh, do you want to do a lap dance, whatever. So we were just sitting there, and we were like, okay, this is weird. And I was just saying to like Mark, like me and him were kind of just like laughing about it. But after a while, I think we were both kind of just thinking like, yeah, this is getting a bit uncomfortable. The funny thing was, the two Mexican guys the whole night were like, let's get some putas. And they go to this place down, and they're like, oh, no. Oh, those fucking guys are funny as fuck. But yeah, so eventually the bouncer came over and like knew we weren't like engaging with the what we thought were strippers, and yeah, we left because he was like, you have to finish your drinks and go, because you're not here for what this place is about. And so we were like, oh fuck yeah, let's just go. By this stage it was like 5:30, 6 a.m, and we were just like, okay, this is weird as fuck. But anyway, what ended up happening was, I didn't really cop the place was a brothel at the time, right? Yes, the place was a fucking brothel. And I was like, what the fuck? When I found this out, because Mark like literally went to me afterwards, yeah, did they not tell you what that girl was saying? And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, she was like offering him to go into the back room and having sex. And the whole time we were sitting there was a woman kept coming in and out of the back room getting drinks, but I just presumed, you know, like, oh yeah, the guy who's in there with her is paying for drinks for them. But Mark was like, yeah, no, that was definitely a brothel, like. And I was like, fuck, yeah, now that I think about it, it was. The craziest thing about it all, though, was that on the same road was the police station where I went to the next day after my phone got robbed to report it. And I mean, this was literally like 3 buildings up. So there was a brothel right next to a police station. I was like, that's either the best disguise ever, or the police actively engage in it, and it's the best business ever. I don't fucking know. But yeah, by the time me and Mark got home, or back to where we were staying, it was like 7 a.m. And we were fucking wrecked, and we were like, man, that was the randomest fucking night ever. But to this day, we still keep in touch with our Mexican friends. We call them our puta amigos. So, yeah, no, that was funny as fuck. And I thought you'd just enjoy that story, because honestly, like, it took me, like, you might say, Adam, you're so slow. Like, how did you not realise it was a fucking strip, or a fucking brothel? I was like, at the time, it just seemed like a strip club, but only in hindsight, when you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, actually, yeah, I see what was going on there. Maybe I'm a bit too innocent. I don't know. Either way, it was an uncomfortable situation, and So Mark straight away told his girlfriend about it, and when I got back, I told my girlfriend about it because I didn't have a phone to text her. But I told her about it, and Mark's girlfriend found it funny. My girlfriend found it funny, and yeah, it was just a big fucking mad experience. But yeah, I don't know, it was crazy. But I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Peace. Can't move your body because it hasn't woken up from that sleep stage. And so what happened to me the first time was I woke up. As soon as I woke up, I could feel my whole body go numb, like into pins and needles, and I was trying to move and wake myself up, and I like opened my eyes and I could see, like, it was so strange, like a shadow kind of somebody standing over me.